Hello and welcome to the progress. I am Ravindra Rajan. Now we are going to discuss about goods and service tax or GST. By studying the features of the GST, we can understand what is GST more clearly. These are the features of the GST. As a first, it is the destination based tax. Prior to GST, whatever taxation regime we have, those are source based taxation, and GST is a destination based tax. What is this source based and what is this destination based? For example, consider a person or manufacturer A in the state 1. He is producing certain good and is selling those goods to the person B who is located in the state 2. So in this example, A and state 1 acts as a source because from where the goods is produced, and B is a destination because where the good has been sent finally. So prior to the GST, whatever this buyer paying as a tax, it will be collected by the tax officials and given to the state government 1, that is to the source government. But under the GST, whatever tax, it is collected by the tax officials and it is given to the state government 2, that is destination. By seeing this, A might be demotivated. It may be thinking, I am the person who permitting manufacturing company in my state, but I can't claim the tax benefit over this company. So I will face some loss. Like the state government 1 will be thinking. To overcome this, to compensate its losses, the union government came up with a scheme known as a GST compensation scheme, regarding which we will see later. Now, the second feature of the GST is it is a one nation, one tax. That is prior to GST. This is prior to GST. There has been a multiple indirect taxes, and each state will be having different state. These 2 points are with respect to prior to the GST. Prior to GST. That is, if the spin is attracting 5% indirect tax in my state, means in another state it might be 6%. In state 3 it might be 7%. Therefore, the indirect tax keeps on varying based on the states. This is the problem number 1. Second thing, there are multiple indirect taxes like state sales tax, central sales tax, excise, like this multiple indirect taxes have been there. And nobody has a clarity that what and all indirect taxes will be imposed on this spin. And GST streamlined these 2 problems by collecting or by imposing a constant GST rate. For example, now the GST rate for this spin is 5% in my state, means throughout the India, wherever you are going, the GST rate of this spin will be only 5%. Now coming to the second problem, GST streamlined the multiple indirect taxes by subsuming most of the indirect taxes under its ambit. So these are the taxes subsumed by the GST. Under the central service tax, central excise tax, and with respect to state VAT, purchase tax, like this, these are the tax subsumed by the GST. Please pause the slide, pause the video, and have a look over what are the tax subsumed by the GST. And I'm telling most of the taxes are subsumed by the GST. Therefore, some of the taxes are not still subsumed by the GST. And these are the taxes which is not subsumed by the GST. State excise duty, basic customs duty, VAT on petroleum, like this, some taxes are there. Please, I'm recommending you to have a look over this because UPSC can pick a question from this kind of exceptions only. So please have a look over this by pausing this video. So by this, one nation, one tax has been implemented or trying to implement by the GST by streamlining this 2 problem. Now, coming to we completed destination based tax and we completed one nation, one tax. Now, logistic cost has been decreased. What is logistic cost? Logistic cost means it is the transportation cost. That is, prior to the GST, there is a concept of interstate check post. That is, if you are traveling from one state to another state, there will be a check post. It will be verifying the goods and papers, everything. In the due process of time, it has become a time-consuming process. If the time has been consuming in this transportation like this because of the check post, then fuel necessity will be increased. Time will be increased. If the fuel has been increased, means transportation cost increase, product cost increase, and the burden of this costing will be finally falling to the consumer. And the time will also be increased. Therefore, GST eradicated this interstate check post by a concept known as e-way bill. And regarding e-way bill, we will see a separate video and I will give the link in the description. So these are the features. In this, we left two features. There is cascading effect, no cascading effect, and the input tax credit. Cascading effect is a eradication of this cascading effect is a most important or prominent feature of the GST. And regarding this, how this cascading effect got eradicated and what is this input tax credit, I have made a separate video because it requires a lot of explanation. So I made a separate video and I given the link in the description. So kindly do watch what is cascading effect and how this cascading effect has been overcome by the input tax credit system. So these are the features of the GST.